Good Friday. Friday. Good morning to you all. I am James Detroit, and it is with both enthusiasm that I get a chance to share and express my First Amendment rights in the Constitution, and it is also sadness that I am going to share with you this morning, only from the standpoint of a life that has ceased to exist but a legacy that will live on forever. So we go back to the celebration of life and 84 years of celebrating life. And this man, Walter E. Williams, is definitely worth taking some time to celebrate and give, in my humblest of ways, my appreciation for this man. And the best way to do it is to read what Thomas Sowell has written about his best friend for more than 50 years. And so please bear with me. This is from Thomas Sowell. And for those of you who do not know, Thomas Sowell, PhD, an economist and former syndicated columnist, is a senior fellow at Hoover Institution, a public policy think tank at Stanford University. Grew up as poor can possibly be imagined in rural North Carolina, and is an extraordinary American story. And Thomas Sowell writes about his best friend of 50 years. Quote, Walter E. Williams loved teaching. Unlike too many other teachers today, he made it a point to never impose his opinions on his students. Those who read Walter Williams' syndicated newspaper columns know that he expressed his opinions boldly and unequivocally there, but not in the classroom. Walter, a professor of economics at George Mason University for over 40 years, once said he hoped that on the day he died, he would have taught a class that day. And that is just the way it was when he died Wednesday, December 2nd. He was my best friend for half a century. There was no one I trusted more or whose integrity I respected more. The left is actively working to undermine the integrity of our elections. Oh, I'm sorry, that was an insert in the article. Back to Thomas. Since he was younger than me, I chose him to be my literary executor, to take control of my books after I was gone. But his death at 84 is a reminder that no one really has anything to say about such things. As an economist, Walter Williams never got the credit he deserved. His book, Race and Economics, How Much Can Be Blamed on Discrimination, ? Is a must-read introduction to the subject. Amazon has it ranked 5th in sales among civil rights books 9 years after it was published. Another book of his on the efforts of economics under the white supremacist apartheid regime in South Africa was titled South Africa's War Against Capitalism. He went to South Africa to study the situation directly. Many of the things he brought out have implications for racial discrimination in other places around the world. I have had many occasions to cite Walter Williams' research in my own books. Most of what others say about higher prices in low-income neighborhoods today has not yet caught up to what Walter said in his doctoral dissertation decades ago. Despite his opposition to the welfare state as something doing more harm than good, Walter was privately very generous with both his money and his time in helping others. He figured he had a right to do whatever he wanted to do with his own money, but that politicians had no right to take his money to give away in order to get votes. In a letter dated March 3rd, 1975, Walter said, "Sometimes it is a very lonely struggle trying to help our people, particularly the ones who do not realize that help is needed." End quote. In the same letter, he mentioned a certain hospital that has an all but written policy of prohibiting the flunking of black medical students. Not long after this, a professor at a prestigious medical school revealed that black students were given passing grades without having met the standards applied to other students. He warned that trusting patients would pay, and some with their lives, for such irresponsible double standards. And that has in fact happened. As a person, Walter Williams was unique. I have heard of no one else described as being like Walter Williams. Holding a black belt in karate, Walter was a tough customer. One night, 3 men jumped him, and 2 of those men ended up in a hospital. The other side of Walter came out in a relation to his wife, Connie. She helped put him through graduate school, and after he received his PhD, she never had to work again, not even to fix his breakfast. Walter liked to go to his job at 4:30 a.m. He was the only person who had no problem finding a parking space on the street in downtown Washington. Around 9 o'clock or so, Connie, now awake, would phone Walter and they would greet each other tenderly for the day. We may not see his like again, and that is our loss. I would say that Thomas Sowell and Walter E. Williams, up until Wednesday, were 2 of the people that I turned to look to advice, to read their perspective when it comes to issues of race and discrimination and the lies that the media tells us, because Thomas and Walter were bringing a different narrative, and it was based on truth, based on fact, based on their personal experiences. And if you really want to provide an appropriate appreciation for the life of Walter Williams, you will look up, and today, do it today, look up and start reading what Walter Williams has written. The Daily Signal, he has written for them on a pretty regular basis. He has a syndicated newspaper or platform that he has written in. Read one of his books. Walter Williams, My Appreciation for a Life Well Lived, one worthy of trying to, they say that to copy somebody, to try to imitate them, it's the greatest flattery. Well, Walter Williams led a life that we should attempt to try to be more like, for sure. For now, you got to go get a workout in and go attack this day. We are going to have a great day. I am James Detroit, and I'm out.